The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It is Thursday, April 18th, and today is National Exercise Day, you guys. It's also National Animal Crackers Day, National Palm in Your Pocket Day, National Lineman Appreciation Day. Shout out to all those linemen, or else we wouldn't be able to talk to anybody. It's also National High Five Day, Rico. And,
high five.
Yes, and Rochelle, you're going to love this the best. It's also National Columnists Day.
Ooh.
Yes, shout out to all the columnists out there, because else we wouldn't have anything to read. But thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But kicking it off today, that's right, we have the dope dad himself coming up to the stage. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Rico Lamitte, who is rocking all black on black today. That's right, it is the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte. You got to do your own applause, Rico.
Oh, I got.
Yeah.
Or as I would say, root for your damn self.
Root for your damn self. Hold on, do that one more time.
Like that. What's that?
Do that one more time. Yeah, one more time. There we go.
Root for your damn self.
Root for your damn self.
Guess I gotta do that, Jason. You know, sometimes you gotta look out. There you go. There it is. All right, y'all. Well, social equity. It's been a tough cookie to crack everywhere in the industry for the cannabis industry, everywhere nationwide, not just in California where it began. One city in California that has been slow to act on cannabis legislation, but also for social equity here in California is San Diego. They're looking to cut their program altogether before it even starts. And one could argue that it, for everybody involved, is just cut out all the hard work just right off the bat, or it could be a negative. But so Andrea Lopez Villafania actually had this story from the Morning Report out at the Voice of San Diego, and taking an interesting take on what's going on down there with the mayor. So San Diego Mayor Todd Gloria is proposing to eliminate the city program that would have helped people charged with crimes related to cannabis enter the legal weed market. City staff has been working on the cannabis social equity program for years, but it has yet to get off the ground. Killing the program would force the city to return an $880,000 grant that is secured from the state to help potential equity program applicants pay for permit and legal fees, licenses, and other expenses. The grant expires in 6 months. Last week, Gloria unveiled a proposed budget that relies on cuts and one-time fixes to address the city's projected $137 million deficit. The city council still needs to approve the proposed budget and cuts before anything is final. Per the article, while the city's cannabis equity program may not have gotten off the ground. Plenty of money and time were put into building it out. The city published a study, engaged community members, and presented policy reports over the last 2 years. The council also delayed a plan to expand the number of cannabis businesses and business permits until its equity program was in place. People spent a ton of money on this, and they're just going to cut it just like that. So potential applicants who spent months advocating for the program, participating in city listing sessions, and helped city staff craft language for the proposed policy are all understandably pissed. Council previously allocated $1 million for its social equity and economic development program, or what they call SEED. The program would have created opportunities for people who were criminalized for cannabis possession or sales in the past. Megan McCall went to jail in 2009 when she was 28 years old for possession. It was a bag of cannabis-infused candy. It didn't belong to her. It was her mother's, but she took responsibility. That decision followed her for years, affecting her ability to find work and housing. She also blames the deaths of her 2 older brothers on cannabis criminalization. They were arrested for selling weed, and drug tests were a condition of their probation. To avoid failing their drug tests, they started using drugs that had a shorter lifespan in their system, like cocaine, other shit. But eventually, they became addicted to the harder drugs and later died from the complications. She said that they cycled in and out of prison most of her life. Matter of fact, when I didn't get arrested, I was on the way back to see my brother on his deathbed. They died 5 months apart from each other. It's one of the many stories that they actually highlight from social equity applicants and why they got in there and how they had hope that San Diego's social equity program, which was different than everybody else's, actually was going to work. But now the mayor says they don't need it. All right, so my stance on all of this is I'm torn because these people's money and time was wasted. I'm always going to ride for the people who actually put the investment in. And I think it's wrong for the government to have proposed something to them and then just take it away. That being said, that's been the story of social equity, period, everywhere. None of these programs have worked. And there's been a lot more heartbreak in places like here in LA, right? I was on the ground marching for this shit when I first met Jason back in like 2016, 2017. Like a lot more was promised from the government. My stance on it now is like shame on us for believing the government was going to give us anything close to that dollar that they promised us, when they have a history of giving us less than 10 cents when we asked for that dollar, right? So I'm sad for these people that put their investment in there, and that the mayor of San Diego is just going to nuke the program. But on the flip side of this, you could be 3 years into this, still no license, paying 4, 5, 6 times the amount of rent that any other commercial business would be in your place, and asked out. And then when you finally do get up and running, you still have to fight against the trap. You still have 280E. You're fighting against MSOs, like more well-funded, and you're constantly just trying to get more money, just trying to get by, right? So I think overall, this sucks. But on the flip side, like, it could be worse, and it is a lot worse for people who actually got their social equity licenses and are struggling to survive now. And the other option is just go back to the trap, right? So I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for for Hyatt Night Dudes, and I'm just like I'm heartbroken, but at the same time, it just does not surprise me, especially with San Diego being a more conservative town, that they would renege on their promises, and like to hear from the rest of the team.
I don't think there's anything in California that's conservative. You said San Diego.
San Diego's fairly conservative. Yeah, it's a big military town. Lots of retired law enforcement.
I don't believe it.
No, it's real. Town. It's true. Super conservative, like Orange County, San Diego is probably the best places to live in all of California.
Orange County. I used to live in Orange County. Orange County is conservative.
Yeah, Orange County, San Diego, both conservative places.
This is why we call it socialist equity, right, Jason?
That's right, exactly why we call it socialist equity, because of exactly.
It sounds like reasoning. A great idea and everything, but they will pull that rug right up from under you.
You got to believe that anything
as
they
the government,
offer you
as
is
the government
trick.
Always does.
Mm-hmm.
So
It is. It's more carrot dangling. It's just a buzzword. Social equity doesn't exist. 99% of the places they implement it, it turns to shit. Somebody should be held accountable, in my opinion, on this. That's just terrible. You got these strung these people on this long. Somebody should be held accountable.
Yeah. Very much so. I agree with that. Someone definitely needs to be held accountable. Did you have something you want to say, Rochelle?
Well, let me get this straight. So basically they were like, we have a grant for social equity, but it's not working. We're not going to do it. We really need the money. So let's just take that back and use it for stuff that we quote unquote need. Is that what I'm hearing?
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Like, give me that back.
Exactly.
Actually, on second thought, wow, that's really wild. Like, I had no idea. So they're
You know,
voting.
all these other states, they put that money, they designate it in a quote unquote general fund. This is what's going on. Like, they put that money in a general fund, and it can go back. Like when in LA, when they first started revealing where the social equity money was going. I remember I was with Felicia Carbajal at the big house here, and we were going to protest this whole shit when it was revealed that all of the social equity money was not going to any of the businesses; it was going to police overtime.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
Right, like, oh yeah, we have a deficit. They pay these overtime police officers, the same officers who are not enforcing anything for these trap shops. They're not doing anything. They're not protecting these businesses. But you know what? Like, we get $1.2 million coming in. We're gonna give that to the cops. So this really sucks. I hope the people on the ground there can fight back and get their money, because we were able to claw back some of the money for social equity applicants here in Los Angeles. I hope it's a situation where they can do something similar down there. But this is just an ongoing theme. And social equity, man, it's government money, and there's always strings attached. And one of the biggest strings attached is always power. You lose your own power and your own autonomy when you're relying on government incompetence and in politics at play too. So you have the mercy.
Yeah, no, I agree. You should have seen the look on Slade's face when he realized what was happening in San Diego, man. Oh, man.
What?
Man, oh, man. Yeah, I mean, it's exactly why we call it socialist equity. It's a tragedy that is going on. But, I mean, this is the same thing as like what Gavin Newsom does when he goes into the cannabis tax fund and takes $100 million from it and says, you know what, we're just going to put this in the general fund now. And so this happens on the state level, on the municipality level, and I don't see any end in sight to any of this fleecing of the cannabis space. But on that, we're going to go to a commercial, and we are going to be right back.
Yep.
Oh, man, that was weird. Hey, you, America. Do I look like Sean Connery? Good morning, America. Saman Razani coming to you live from sunny Los Angeles, California, with the one and only highest host, Mr. Jason Beck, smoking on the best weed in the world. Did you know that we have an audio-only version of our podcast? You can find it on Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. No excuses in 2024. If you haven't checked us out, check it out now. And also, check out what the Prophet's doing in 2024.
Smoking the best weed in the world, but also he's our very own social equity chair, DEI czar.
Oh boy.
And the man
DEI
is going to make
DOA.
cannabis industry great again.
That's
Jason
right.
Beck.
Oh, yeah. Good morning, Rico. Hope you all are having a great day. Happy Thursday, everybody. You know, we got 420 coming up on Saturday, and marijuana operators aim to mitigate 420 online outages this year, you guys. As the marijuana industry gears up for the biggest sales day of the year, retailers, point of sale, and e-commerce service providers are working to avert another online disaster, you guys. Operators nationwide have installed a series of measures bolstering infrastructure, employee training, training, stress tests, and other support mechanisms to capture every retail dollar on Saturday, April 20th, the most celebrated day of the year for cannabis enthusiasts and retailers alike. Last year, a cascade of failures between Dutchie's POS system and their retail customers' e-commerce menus led to widespread outages affecting hundreds, if not thousands, of stores in the United States and Canada. Cannabis retail workers told MJ Biz Daily the outages knocked out online menus and prevented adult use consumers and medical marijuana patients from placing online orders and erased records of stores' pre-programmed deals. For some retailers, the online disruptions outshined long-planned celebratory events, product promotions, and discounts, leaving operators frustrated and consumers confused. E-commerce and POS outages on 420 have become a near perennial issue for the industry, and Shelly Hall-Kobahar, owner of Oregon-based Pops Port Orford cannabis store, has dealt with numerous IT outages on her 420 over the years while working at various shops. In quote, she says, "I feel like 420 is just a colossal breakdown in every way," she told MJ Biz Daily in a phone interview. She says, "We push the system to the absolute max and see if we can break it, and often we do." Increased store and online traffic on April 20th pushed sales over $100 million in 10 states and 4 Canadian markets alone, according to Seattle-based cannabis industry analytics provider Headset. Transactions peaked at 160,000 per minute, and the number of shippers last year increased more than 120% compared to 2022, according to Oakland, California-based retail software company Trees. The company, which serves more than 500 retailers with POS, e-commerce, and inventory management software, predicts revenue this April 20th could be 2.5 times higher than in 2023 because the high holiday falls on a Saturday. Tim Barash, CEO of Bend, Oregon-based Dutchie, said the company has been focused on meeting the demands of the industry's busiest sales day since last year's setbacks. In quotes, since then, we have redoubled our efforts to stay ahead of the industry scale, he told MJ Biz Daily via email. And Dutchie's POS and e-commerce software handles more than 1 million daily orders from more than 6,000 cannabis retail clients in the U.S. and Canada. Its technology facilitates 14 billion plus of cannabis sales annually, and by far the industry's largest provider. Is our responsibility to consistently improve performance to support our customers, Barash added. Jane Technologies' POS, e-commerce, and payment processing service are utilized by more than 2,500 retailers, primarily in the United States. The Santa Clara, California headquartered company systems handle traffic on 420 that is 3 to 5 times higher than a typical day, according to CEO Socrates Rosenfeld. In quotes, "Not only do we build things with scalability in mind," he said, "but we go through the extensive testing throughout the year." Rosenfeld said Jane Technologies runs stress tests during other high-volume sales days, including St. Patrick's Day, Memorial Day, Labor Day, Green Wednesday, and the day before Thanksgiving and New Year's Eve. Those days are heavy retail traffic and demand help the company identify potential bottlenecks, application programming interface and interface disruptions and other glitches, he said. Jane Technologies, which launched on April 20th of 2017, meets with every client leading up to the big day to ensure menus are built properly and connections and integrations work correctly. Rosenfeld said, adding that 420 should be a showcase for operators and vendors. In quotes, "It's like Cyber Monday for e-commerce sites or Black Friday for brick and mortar retail," he said. "We should celebrate this plant on the day it should be celebrated and not get distracted by websites getting crashed. Let's see if this industry can win on 420, he says. In the event of a tech outage, retail teams at Kansas City, Missouri-based marijuana multi-state operator Greenlight Dispensaries have a system to record sales manually with metric and track and trace software required by several states. In the event of a system outage, employees at Greenlight's 32 stores in 6 states are trained to log handwritten paper sales as well as product information required by metric and the state's regulators. Those sales sheets will then be passed back to the in-house staff to record in metric as required by the state. The records then would be manually entered into Dutchie to avoid double entries, explained Greenlight CEO John Mueller, who expects the cannabis chain to double sales this year with 420 occurring on a weekend. And the Dutchie outages last year slowed lines at greenlight stores, but they didn't disrupt sales or lead to business losses, Mueller said. Ann Arbor-based Michigan-based C3 Industries, parent of high-profile cannabis shop, bolstered its tech infrastructure, increased server capacity, and optimized system performance to handle the expected blitz of online traffic this 420. C3's 21 marijuana stores in Illinois, Massachusetts, Michigan, Missouri, and New Jersey added POS terminals, express checkouts, and support staff to handle the holiday rush. The company, which is running deep discounts over 2 weekends, projects a 20% increase in customer visits and transactions, and executives are targeting a 25 to 30% jump in sales compared to last 420. In quotes, "We expect to run up the actual 420 holiday to be significant," C3 Chief Operations Officer Sanip Shah told MJ Biz Daily. Some retailers, such as Gotham in New York City, are celebrating their first 420 operating in a regulated market, and the store located on Lower Manhattan's East Village uses Dutchie's e-commerce software, which experienced outages last year. In preparation for its 420, Gotham's IT staff implemented emergency switches on its website to capture sales manually if the software falters, and created guides for online customers. The operator also has implemented other systems backups if Dutchie's POS system were to go down, including storing data in certain formats for easier migration. In quotes, "We've also built a pretty lightweight solution for our associates so that their momentum isn't slowed in the case of high velocity," said Owen Mazzari, Gotham's IT director. In another quote, "It's our first year of operating, so we need to make sure that we have the systems in place regardless, and 420 is a really good touch point to double check we're okay without any given service at any time. We're ready to get rolling," they said. On the other side of the spectrum, Cresco Labs will ring in its 6th holiday in cannabis retail sector. The Chicago-based MSO, which operates 72 Sunnyside stores across the country, tries to minimize third-party applications to avoid widespread glitches. In quotes, "We've invested in our own technology since Sunnyside launched, and to try to insulate us as the best we can from third-party outages," spokesperson Jason Eriks told MJ Biz Daily. "This also allows us to offer a customized and enhanced experience for our shoppers, but it doesn't make us immune from issues caused by heightened volume on days like 420. Because of its isolated location along the rugged southern coast of Oregon in Port Orford, the most westernly town in the contiguous United States, Pops frequently deals with power outages and connectivity lapses for windstorms and rainstorms. Ironically, last year marked the first time in several years that Pops owner Hal Corbar didn't have to address some technological setback on 420. He says, "I am forever planning for outages." The operator has implemented different procedures and responses to power outages, one plan for phone connectivity, another for Wi-Fi, and yet another for his POS failures. If the internet goes down, cellular hotspots are ready to support at least one computer via iPad or smartphone, and during the total power outage, Hal has recorded sales manually from home or office in Montana after they're relayed from workers at the store. With her store running so many sales and discounts on 420, this year's deals include $30 ounces and 50% off certain brands. Hal ensures every bud tender and checkout clerk has the deals documented on paper along with the regular prices, and the redundancy also helps if a POS system crashes. All too common occurrence on 420, and in quotes says, "We're pretty well versed in outage situations, not just for 420, Hal says, and the best case scenario is we have all the stuff in place and we don't use a bit of it." Well, what do you guys think? Is there going to be a big crash this 420 in tech? What do you have to say about this, Rico? What's going on in the tech world on 420?
You know, your POS it's an appliance. It's supposed to count things accurately. It's supposed to keep things in order. Everything. It should be able to handle these types of things. Mm-hmm. It's sad that we have seen over the years continues to have these crashes on high volume days. But I don't know, man. It's supposed to work, and your POS should be reliable. And it's a very, very important. I would argue it's the most important part for transactions of your business, because this is exactly what the government can go into and see if you've been fucking things up, right? Mm-hmm. So it's alarming that we have these issues still, as long as cannabis POSs have been around. It's been like 15 years now. Cannabis specific POSs. I don't know what's going to remedy it if they're still having issues like this. It was very disappointing to see what happened with Dutchies, specifically in New York last year. And they lost a lot of momentum, I know, as a company because of that. And they were dealing with a lot of political stuff behind the scenes. But if you're new to the industry, like my advice would be, because I work with a lot of different POS providers. I don't work for a POS company at all, but my company does work with them directly. And if you're new to the industry looking for POSs, just ask peers, ask folks in other states, like what their experience with it, and make sure to go with has minimum amount of data. It's simple too. Your POS is supposed to do POS shit. It's not supposed to be doing absolutely everything for your business. That's gonna log jam other stuff that you need to do essentially for your business. That's the only advice that I can give without giving a direct endorsement of one over the other. Just do your research and make sure that it works. So your business, and don't get caught with your pants down out of compliance that can jeopardize your right or your privilege to operate.
Well, but there aren't a lot of good options out there, Rico. That's a problem I run into with my small operators, is they can't afford personnel. They can't afford all these other things that the big operators do. So I don't know, victim may not be the right word, but you go out there and you try to acquire the services that are out there, and you don't have a lot of options, or a lot of good options. And so if something happens,
you don't really have a remedy for it. It's the POSs. I understand and I agree with you, Dale. Like, I don't have like a lot of good, reliable options, and I don't know how they haven't figured this out this deep into the game. I don't know. I don't know what the right remedy for it is, other than make sure that all the transactions, train your team up for paper tickets too, just in case. Backup paper.
That's the big one. Be ready for the backup. Like, man, you got one job. You're supposed to have one job. Take care of it, unless your POS is a POS. Come on, man. From the consumer standpoint, like there's no excuse for it. You've got really one big sales day, one huge sales day. You've got 364 days to prepare for it. Be ready. Come on.
Right.
Well, but the practical realities, guys, is that you got to hire people. They come in as unskilled workers at minimum wage, and you expect them to take detailed notes, because the state requires a lot of detailed notes about these transactions. So the backup is to hire someone who may not know anything, under pressure, how to do this, and you've got requirements to document every sale you have. So that's the problem my employers run into. If your POS system works great, it operates with metric, they show up to audit you, man, you've got all the documents you need. But if not, you've got someone who may be an unskilled worker. You're not hiring MAs or, PhDs at $16.50 an hour, $20, whatever it is. And you put them under pressure to start recording 4 or 5 times the average daily load, they're going to fuck some things up. That's what concerns my clients. And I don't have an answer for them, because how do you prepare somebody for a couple of days a year where you get really bombarded and they're struggling just to meet their basic requirements of taking orders out and filling them? I mean, that's the practical reality that we face here. If you're a big operator with money, you can do this. If not, you're a victim. If these systems go down and your backup system doesn't work, then your 420 bump in business comes with so many legal problems with it that you start pulling your hair out, whatever's left of your hair after being, a small operator in this industry.
Yeah, I mean, I've done paper tickets
I would think
before.
that you
Go ahead, Tony.
I would think with you knowing that 420 is approaching, that I would just be overstocked. Like, there's no way that I would. It was different, but for me,
has nothing to do with being.
I would be overstocked.
Has nothing to do with being overstocked. This is what happens: is you get the technology glitches, and all of a sudden you're trying to ring somebody up, and then it doesn't work, and then you're unable to complete the transaction. That's what this is all about. Is all about the technology that we are required to use to make sure that everything is documented for the states and all of this and that. Make sure that all the compliance is done, and that's all done digitally as opposed to manually. But nonetheless, we are going to keep. What's that?
Oh, quick question.
Yeah.
Why not sit down with the people that you know and try to figure out a program or create a program that would simplify it?
Well, I mean, that's a much longer conversation, Tony. But nonetheless, we're gonna keep this thing rolling. We're gonna roll right into Mr. Attorney Dale Schafer. He's the founder of Armada Law Practice, and at one point in time, did some time for a cannabis crime. That's right. Coming up next, that is your favorite angry uncle, Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody.
Loco.
I hope y'all heard
You're
it.
on the East Coast.
I heard
It's
the
good
round of applause.
afternoon.
I had to give it to him.
Yes.
Thanks, Tony. My story this morning involves another investment gone bad and what can happen when your attorneys screw things up for you, too. We have, it's out of Law 360, and it's about an investor who claims he got duped. And, you know, there's an opinion out of the court that's unpublished, so you can't use it as authority. The cases it cites in our authority, and this is a guy named Stephen Baggett who invested some money. I guess the figure they're talking about was $650K dropped into an investment. He was supposed to get some percentage of the business, and it turns out, if I understand it, that they were going to offer securities in this company that were unlawful under Washington law. Okay, so as always, the investment didn't go as these people wanted. This guy wanted it to go, so he ultimately sued the company and all the people that were involved in it. And the suit involved, he dropped $650K in. He was supposed to get X amount out of it. He didn't get it. It was a bad investment. They breached the contract. He threw the kitchen sink in there. Okay, but unfortunately for him, an email was sent. I think by one of his attorneys, pointed out that this is a fraudulent security scheme, okay, and that you've got some problems with that. Well, they didn't throw the securities law violation into the first case. So what happened is all the attorneys got together after they, made sure they got paid for all this stuff, and they settled the case. Okay? They settled the case for a six-figure amount. And when they settled the case included any claim that might be based upon this investment scheme. Okay? And they went to court and had the case dismissed with prejudice, which means you can't come back. You're done. Anything you had to bring about this investment scheme, you just settled it and be on your way. Well, it seemed that this guy, Mr. Baggett, wasn't satisfied with that. So he filed another lawsuit against these same people based upon the same basic scheme, investment scheme. This time he threw in the securities violation under Washington law. Okay. Well, that started another round of what we call pleading wars. But unfortunately for the defendant's attorney, they didn't raise what we call claims preclusion or res judicata. In other words, you already brought this case up, you settled it, you can't come back and do this again. The attorneys didn't raise it. Okay, which, from my perspective, you get an odor here of malpractice. I mean, it's one of those affirmative defenses you raise. Hey, we already did this. We settled the case. You can't come back at us again. Okay, so they move forward with this, what we call discovery, and now they file what we call speaking motions. We bring in evidence, and we want you to dismiss the case based upon the evidence we found. No triable issues of fact. Well, in those motions, the plaintiff's attorney responded to this claims preclusion. Okay, rather than saying no, you waived it, you can't do this. He actually engaged in pleadings and argumented case. So in other words, he revised this. The attorney screwed it up, and the plaintiff's attorney revived it again. So again, this kind of has an odor of, that smells like malpractice to me. I'm not saying it is, but it smells like it. Okay. So the defendants said, hey, we want you to dismiss all this stuff. And the court said, we're going to dismiss everything but this new securities claim. And so it goes up to the appellate court, and the defendants argue, hey, they settled and waived everything, even claims they hadn't brought, which they knew about and could have brought. They settled them, so they're done. And the appellate court said, absolutely. If you bring a lawsuit under what we call a common nucleus of operative facts with the same people, okay, and you go into court and you either lose or you settle, it's done. Okay, if you had a claim you could have brought up and should have brought up, it's done too. Okay, so what this represents is a bad investment handled by some attorneys that, arguably committed malpractice here. And then ultimately a court said, well, if you settle a case and it includes everything that could come out of that case, you're done. We don't want to see you back here again. Okay? It gets a little bit geeky, but it's another one of the complications you see when you throw money into these speculative cannabis ventures and it doesn't turn out well. And another thing that happened in between is that this target defendant went to bankruptcy, and they're not talking much about that, how that worked out for them. There was a pause here for bankruptcy, so the plaintiff knew that you ain't getting money out of these folks because they're bankrupt. And now we have an opinion from the court that no one can cite, but it sends a message out there. It said if you're representing these investments and they stink, you better throw everything into that suit and make sure you follow up on it, or you're going to be precluded from coming back and recouping your investment. So I'm going to throw this back at you guys. What do you think about this?
Man. So these guys, they got the judgment. Am I correct on this? They got
dismissal.
They got a dismissal. The dismissal of a judgment. So they should be happy because now they're not financially liable in regards. Am I correct on this, Dale?
Oh, that's right. The door was closed on them coming back and trying to relitigate this. You're done. Get out of here. They were kicked out of court.
Yeah. So
this is like kind of like double jeopardy.
Kind of. Well, this eliminates that.
The theory is res judicata. And if you have something happen, okay, and you know who the parties were, and there's a group of facts that are involved in this, and you go sue somebody for it, you better make sure you bring all the claims you know or reasonably shouldn't know of to court, or you may be done. You can't bring them back up later.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You get one shot to make it happen, and it's kind of like those basketball games when you get that half court shot to win the money, and either you make it or you break it.
It's kind of like 8 Mile, run rabbit run. You get one shot,
That's it. Exactly.
Knees weak, arm spaghetti.
Oh boy.
Vomit on your sweater already.
Oh God.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man, you have any thoughts?
Just be careful of the attorneys that you hire.
Right.
Because a lot of people have law licenses, and you might not want them, representing you against the dog catcher. So be careful.
That part is very true. That part is very true. And you have anything on this, Rochelle? No? All right. Fair enough on that. We're going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into a commercial, and we're going to be right back. The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated. All right, stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can read directly on our website at www.highatnightnews.com.
I'm Jason Beck, and this is Smoky Vanilla. And if you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to get a stretch and smoke with Smoky Vanilla.
Hi, I'm Smoky Vanilla. I have my bachelor's degree in kinesiology, and I'm a sports massage therapist and stretch coach. I focus mostly on individuals that are in sport with chronic pain or injury. I love to intuitively create and customize a session based on the individual that I'm working with. We'll go over a few postural assessments, work together to create a wellness journey based on the health history, past injuries, or anything still affecting you today. And we'll get you back on your feet right away with less pain.
We're about to stretch, and then we're gonna smoke, because we're gonna get on our stretch and smoke. If you want to feel as good as I look, then you need to come on down and get a stretch and smoke with none other than Smoky Vanilla.
Oh, yeah. Y'all know who's coming up to the stage next. It's the man out the great purple state of Texas who said down with Delta 8 and up on the high road. That's what he decided to hit when he left the great state of Texas and off to greener pastures where he can be the dope dad and the beautiful white man that God intended him to be. Coming to the stage, it is that man, Stone Slade.
Oh, yeah, Stone Slade.
Thank you, Rico. I appreciate you, my friend. Oh, my screen just went crazy. All right, let's do the news. As we approach, am I off mute? Sorry.
Yeah. We hear you.
Yeah.
We hear you just fine.
We hear you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Hey, good to hear everybody. Thank you. As we approach the annual celebration of all things cannabis on 420, being an election year, the debate isn't just about who should occupy the Oval Office, but also about which candidate would make a better smoking buddy. Now, before you get too excited about lining up with either Joe Biden or Donald Trump, let's hear what some people in the cannabis industry had to say. Matthew Jantz, the director for marketing for The Source, a Nevada-based chain of dispensaries, humorously quipped, "I'm not touching this question with a 420-foot pole. I'd rather smoke with my mom, who's never smoked." Alec Rockfeld, CEO of Happy Fruit Edible Company, expressed his dilemma, stating, "Neither of them seem cannabis friendly to me, and I think we're still waiting for an openly supportive candidate." Trump's stance on cannabis during his tenure didn't exactly endear him to the pot aficionados. Despite a few pardons and not aggressively targeting states with legal cannabis laws, his support for federal prohibition and his comments about drug dealers receiving the death penalty left many uneasy. On the other hand, Biden's recent forgiveness for cannabis-related offenses might indicate a softer approach, but his role in the war on drugs and his hesitancy to remove cannabis from the list of harmful drugs raises doubts. Adam Terry, CEO of Cantrip, sees a glimmer of hope in Biden, despite being a reformed drug warrior, suggesting that a Democratic Congress could eventually pass laws to make it easier for the cannabis industry to use bank accounts rather than relying on cash, just like other businesses can. Terry went on to say, hell, maybe there's even a path towards a national hemp regulation that could stabilize these varying state rules. With Trump, I think we just end up with more ultra-conservative Christians in Congress who think that smoking weed will cause their wives to leave them and their children to grow horns. However, Zane Witzel, founder of the CEO of Canador, remains skeptical about any politician's potential impact on the cannabis industry, stating, "Neither's going to deliver on anything, and I wouldn't want to smoke with any politician ever." Strong words, but perhaps not unexpected in the realm of politics. Now, while some might entertain the idea of getting high with a presidential candidate, others are more pragmatic. Liam Cohen, founder of Toking Jew, said that while he believes that Biden is better for his business, he admits that he would rather smoke with Trump. I can only imagine the outlandish takes that he would have after ripping a bong. Joe Horton, CEO of Loud Cannabis, would also rather smoke with Trump over Biden, even though he thinks the current president might be better for the industry. Horton joked Biden is making some pretty important steps towards legalization, but he might be asleep after a puff of my cannabis. Now, Terrence White, CEO of the Monco cannabis brand, would be more comfortable sparking it up with Joe. Says, "I have a daughter. Women's rights are important to me and everyone. It's the lesser of two evils question," he said. But let's not forget about the sheer curiosity surrounding a session with Trump. Mason Palmer, co-founder of Smoke Honest, jokes about the potential entertainment factor, stating, "There's nothing like smoking with an ultra-conservative old folks. Their reaction to cannabis is always priceless." So, as the debate rages on, it seems there's no clear winner in the race for the ultimate smoking companion. Whether it's Biden's potential policy changes or Trump's unpredictable reactions, one thing's for sure, the cannabis industry isn't short on opinions when it comes to who they'd rather share a joint with. And as far as my own take, if I had to choose, I'd probably opt to smoking with most politicians, but if pressed, I'd lean towards Biden over Trump. Why? Well, it's not a political reason, and it's not because I'm expecting enlightening political discourse over a bowl. It's simply because I figure Biden might bring better quality smoke to the table. After all, his history on the war on drugs notwithstanding, I'd take my chances with him over the prospect of Trump breaking out some subpar boof. Given Mr. Trump's culinary preference for overcooked steak, McDonald's, and Diet Coke, it's not a stretch to imagine that he'd settle for some low-quality boof or even Delta 8 smoked from a 24-karat bowl. In other words, I'll take my chances with Dark Brandon. Thank you very much. I'm Stone Slade reporting for the High at 9 News.
Oh man, this is a good one, man.
This
I'm
is
so glad
great.
You took this story.
Yes,
because
I'm glad he did.
I would love to hear everybody.
Donald Trump has reposted me rolling up marijuana and smoking it and lighting it on Twitter. giving me millions and millions and millions of views.
All right, so you're saying so you would obviously smoke with Trump. Like, why would you smoke?
I'm definitely gonna smoke with Trump, but I'm just gonna say something as far as like regulatory. I think that people tend to put a lot of pressure on Biden and Trump to do something about the marijuana industry, and not realizing that we just need to put the pressure on Congress. They create the laws, and ultimately it can say or whatever, but it's just going to be people just passing the hot potato to the next person. And giving the blame to somebody else. It's Congress that needs to do it, not Trump or Biden. I'm smoking with Trump. We're going to laugh at Biden, but I don't think that Trump is as harsh to the industry as people would like to think. I just think that I don't think he had an opportunity to do anything either.
He didn't.
So that's just my take on it.
He didn't. It's supposed to be second term.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a second term.
Who would you smoke with and why, Dale?
It's always the next term.
Look, I'm not quite as old as both of those old farts, but I'm getting close to them. And I don't know if I want to be in the same room with either one of them, let alone smoke in a bowl with either one of them. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Oh, you're going to say
I don't trust either one of them as
You'd
far as I
rather
can
pass
control them.
than puff.
What do you think, Rochelle?
Rochelle, what about you?
I mean, I love this story. I think it's hilarious.
Fantastic.
Initially, I was kind of like, yeah, I don't know if I want to touch this with a 420-foot pole. But then as I started hearing more, I do agree with some of the sentiments that Trump might be more entertaining as a whole, but Biden can maybe be more impactful. So I feel like for me, I would probably want to be in the situation that would be the most impactful for the community as a whole, even if Trump might say some mad, out-of-pocket shit that could be pretty hilarious in the moment.
I would 100% smoke with Trump. I would smoke with Trump.
Nikki Bradley. Hold on. Let me address somebody in the comments. Nikki Bradley. I own multiple marijuana dispensaries in New York City, and I have cultivating marijuana.
You don't need to give Nick. Don't give Nick nothing.
Don't take the bait.
Yeah.
No. Some hear me out, people. I'm not beefing with her.
No.
Listen, she may not know me, and you may not like Donald Trump, and that's cool, sister. But I love him. All right. And you don't have to like that I come on High at 9 News to tell you guys that I love Donald Trump, but that's my guy.
Oh my God.
All right.
And I smoke more weed than you do.
Oh boy.
Okay. What I was saying was, like, I would 100% smoke with Trump. I think Joe Biden would pass out after one hit. It would just be a non-event, and I want to see Donald Trump high, like straight up. I want to see it. Just want to see what would happen with Donald Trump. I think he would be entertaining to be around, and I don't like being depressed when I smoke weed. So I think Donald Trump would be a more entertaining time. Just on a lighthearted note, I think Joe Biden would not last like one hit of anything, and he would fall asleep.
See, Rico, I'm on the same page as you, because it's like I'm definitely choosing Trump on this. But if I was to smoke with Joe Biden, I have a feeling that we would be smoking my weed. He would ultimately pass out, and that we wouldn't have really any follow-up conversation. But I would also really worry about his health, and I just know that my stuff is so strong that he may possibly, from coughing, break one of his ribs, and I would not want to be responsible for anything like
look
that.
Look at it the other way. Maybe he takes a couple of hits of the best weed in the world, and all of a sudden, he's rejuvenated. He's lost about 20 years.
That's not
brand new man.
No, that's not going to happen.
Real medicine in
no,
him. You know what I'm saying?
No. I'm not buying that, because Joe Biden is the architect of the 3 strikes law and whatnot. And when you compare, when you compare legislatively, I mean, Trump only had 4 years, but at least he did get the First Step Act passed, and which is a lot more than President Biden has done in his term with his little whatever you guys
Joe
want to call
Biden
him.
freed all the
people that weren't in jail.
Emancipator.
All the people that weren't in jail, exactly. But now,
He did cannabis forgiveness.
yes, but now smoking with Trump, okay? You just have to imagine this. You're gonna be sitting over there at Mar-a-Lago, smoking a joint over on the patio with the Florida sunshine, just chilling. All right, Secret Service around, and that would be the business, bro. That would be the business. And I have a good story for you. I actually have a real good story for you.
Anybody can get in.
I have a real good story for you, Rico. You're gonna like this. I'm sitting at Mar-a-Lago, and I'm at a table about 10 people at this table, and we're discussing a sale of some licenses in Puerto Rico. And all of a sudden,
President Trump comes down and he points at our table. He's like, look at that table. He says, look at that table. He said, that is an amazing table right there. There is some business getting done right there. And let me tell you something. I smell a deal, and let me tell you something. I want in. I want in on that deal. And I turned over to him, and I said, President Trump, you're in. And that was that.
That might be the worst story I've ever heard on this show.
You're just a hater, bro.
I think you're high if you think that old Donnie Appleseed isn't going to be falling asleep too. So both those.
No,
guys
I don't think he
handle
would. I don't think he would. He's very high energy, Stone. Very high energy.
Doesn't eat enough McDonald's, you know. Donald Trump is always on that sugar rush.
Oh man,
So.
that was fun, you guys. Thank you so much for covering that, Stone. We're gonna roll to a commercial. We're gonna be right back.
That one.
Yes,
that's a good one.
Get ready for the return of the shit show to Los Angeles, returning Friday, May 3rd, 7 p.m. to midnight at a brand new venue. Comedy sets by comedians such as Demi York, Lindsay Ames, Alyssa Phillips, Chris Thayer, Josh Shakespeare, Fumi Avi, Jay Snow, Brent Weinbach, Chris Kelly, and hosted by none other than Abdullah Saeed. So head over to www.cloudmedia.partners now to get your tickets, and we'll see you there.
Ah, yes, coming up next, she's the editor at Green State Magazine, has an extensive Lego collection, and is recently engaged. That's right. It is none other than Miss Rochelle Gordon.
Hey, guys. Well, I don't know how I can top the fun of...
It's Adam's fault. Sorry.
Late to the game. I'll take it. So 420 is just a couple of days away. There's no doubt that this day is getting far more mainstream than any of us could have ever imagined. And so much so that large-scale nationwide brands are tapping in, hoping to capitalize. This story comes from Kara Wheatstock, my senior content producer at Green State. Shout out to Kara. Fast food is going to pot en masse this 420. The munchies are a natural side effect of puffing most cannabis varieties. When weed gets tummies rumbling, fast food is often the answer. After April 20th, more people than ever are getting a wicked hankering for something delicious. Locals-only restaurants often have specials like El Brujo's. The Southern California pop-up burger spot will be smashing the El Crunch Daddy Supreme on 420. The burger is based on the similarly named legendary fast food item, but those in other locales don't have to miss out on the noms. These beloved fast food brands have got something special on the grill in every state. First off, Jack in the Box gives back. This is actually pretty cool. Many are launching special deals for the high holiday, but Jack in the Box is also using the heightened visibility to give back. Pineapple Express shakes return this year for $4.20, naturally. Grab one from April 19th to 21st, but that's not all. Everyone's favorite clown in a suit brought back the Pineapple Express air freshener. The air freshener costs just $2, and 100% of the proceeds will go to Jack's Community Grants, which distributes funds to nonprofits focused on educating, inspiring, and feeding young people. It is only available for a limited time and features a tropically scented Jack in the Box wearing a pineapple as a hat. Cute. Jack in the Box has marketed to cannabis lovers for years. They were one of the first to acknowledge the natural connection between hitting the drive-thru and smoking weed through marketing promotions and partnerships with weed icons like Snoop Dogg. But this year, lots of national fast food chains are joining the party. Over at Del Taco, order 8 snack tacos for $4.20 Friday to Sunday. Those caught hungry without a designated driver can skip the drive-thru and enjoy a $0 delivery fee for any order over $15. If shakes and tacos aren't the vibe, how about wings? Chicken lovers rejoice. Wingstop created an all-new flavor for the weed weekend. The chain will bring back the Wingstop Hot Box, and this year it's sauced and tossed with THC sauce, or the hot chili sauce, weed-free, obviously. And aside from the special sauce, each box includes a chicken sandwich of the customer's choice, as well as an 8-piece of wings or 3 tenders. This special is available starting Thursday, April 18th, that's today, until the 21st or while supplies last. But Jimmy John's Jimmy John's, folks, is going above and beyond. They rank the highest this year, no pun intended, with the deliciously dope dime bag. This offering differs from the others because it's a full weed kit complete with food, merch, and cannabis accessories, if you can believe it. The dime bag contains a ham and provolone cheese sandwich topped with jalapeno, extra oregano basil, sliced pickles, crispy jalapenos, fresh sliced lettuce, and tomato. Other snacks in the bag include a gooey fudge brownie, a pickle spear, and chips. As for extras, those who pre-order their 420 gift will receive a Jimmy John's rolling tray. That's right. Secret locations will have additional limited run merchandise like the Deliciously Dope tea. The Deliciously Dope offering is only available from participating stores. Get one for $10 by using the promo code DIMEBAG, all caps, at checkout. While the 420 holiday isn't all about fast food, it's about celebrating and honoring the gifts of the plant. However, it just so happens that one of those gifts is the munchies, and these specials oblige to the cravings. Those who can't find local deals like El Brujo or $4.20 nug-sized sandwiches at a Chiba Hut will find solace for their stoned energy at these national chains. And if fast food isn't on the menu this year, celebrate how far the cannabis space has come. Started in the subculture, now we're here. Rochelle Gordon reporting on behalf of Kara Wheatstock for Green State. What do you guys think? All these corporate people jumping on the 420 bandwagon? I don't know. I think it's kind of good. I like to see the normalization, whatever that looks like, even if it is a little bit tongue-in-cheek, even if there is a smile. I think it's fun. And Jimmy John's giving out a rolling tray that feels extreme.
Well, Jimmy, I love this story, and I agree with you, Rochelle. Jimmy John's, so Jimmy Leotard, he is from Chicago suburbs, and I would not be surprised if he was like in with a bunch of the MSOs out there in Chicago, and they gave some ideas on this. He has said that he used to smoke weed and drink just beer all the time when he was younger, even though he has had some very, very questionable comments over the years about cannabis legislation. But I can see him going in and getting in and having some deals out with these MSO owners, Bo Wrigley specifically. On the Chicagoland area. Follow the money.
Yeah, I love these deals. I think these deals are fantastic. Now I can't eat any of that stuff, but I'm interested in the merch and like the rolling tray that you mentioned, Rochelle, and the other little merch bag that they're gonna have of accessories. I feel like that's gonna be like classic Americana nostalgia over the years, and ultimately it'll probably be selling for a high value one day on eBay.
That's a very good point.
Products.
Top the merch always.
Like a natural progression here of businesses to me. I mean, it's no longer a pejorative to think about smoking a doobie and having a burger or a taco. Okay, it's gone way past that. So why not do this and bring people in? I mean, the people who object to this are never going to be on our side anyway. And you're right. I mean, merch is going to be. My dad used to work for Coca-Cola, and we still have some of that merch that they would roll out every year, and I'm waiting for them to do the same thing here. Getting high and drinking a Coke is, I mean, why aren't they, putting that out there and advertising that stuff?
I know people, their whole interior of their house is Coca-Cola, besides like their furniture.
Yeah, I've seen those people.
Yeah. It's very festive over there.
And I'm not even gonna lie, you still have some of that merch from your working. It might be worth some money. To be perfectly honest with you.
It's all worth a lot of money.
You still have it.
Yeah, it's all worth a lot of money.
A lot of money, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, 100%.
We still got the Coke machine that was in our backyard. So,
now that's a lot of money too. Does it still work, Dale?
It's not right now because it hasn't been, serviced in a while, but we had it gone through and revitalized. So at some point it was. Just all getting old. It's like, let's dump some of this shit and make some money.
Yeah. I would assume like the majority of these owners and these business owners are Republicans, like most of them are. It's just a shot in the dark. But, I would think, these Republican legislators would take the same lead. This is going to make you money. Jump on it. And move forward, right? Simple as that.
You know what? I be thinking the same thing, Rico. But then when you think about the prison industrial complex and how many of these same Republicans and other leaders are invested in that, you just don't really know. It's like I'm not going to ever hold my breath to think that either side is going to get it together, because I think both sides benefits about playing good cop, bad cop in terms of trying to get this figured out.
Fair enough.
We need your help with this, Jason. You should reach out to all these Republicans, be like, yo, like, it's going to make you money. The people, all your constituents all want it. So just move forward. Just do it.
Possibly.
Put some depth. No, put some oil. Put some oils on some of them cigars in that cigar room you walk into, Jason. When they're in there with the cigars, just drop a bit of oil on the cigar.
I mean, Tony, you've seen me at work doing this. So you have witnessed this in real life. So you're the only one here, I think, that has.
This is the reason why this is the reason why when we read when Stone read the article about who he was smoking, I'm sitting, I'm like, I guess for like a lot of these so-called Republicans be like having to stick up their asses, but when you actually get around these guys, it's different. It's a lot different to take. That's just the reason why I feel like they know what they're doing and they're taking sides. They're like, okay, it's your turn to be the a-hole in the situation, because when you really get around these people, they're not the same people.
Fair enough.
It's a two-party system, man, and I hate that. That's why I'm always saying
I don't think it's a two-party system, bro. I think it's a one-party system. I think there's a uniparty, and I think they're tricking us.
Yeah, you're not gonna be either or. Like, life is nuanced. That's it.
I agree to that.
You ready, Rico? Let's roll the Tony.
Ready.
Yeah.
Up next, y'all know who it is. High at 9 News' very own do-rag warrior representing Texas by way of New York City. The man who is allegedly the one who served up Hunter Biden. The man who is allegedly the most hated and loved black man and most dangerous black and Latino man on earth. Coming to the stage, none other than Tony Montaga.
Would I be really, really, really inappropriate for giving myself round of applause? Would I be bad for doing it? I'm not even going to do it. Let me not do it. I just nah. It's
just going to give Nikki some.
Say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, because somewhere around the world that is truly what time it is. And on behalf of me and the rest of my co-hosts here today, we want to say thank you guys for tuning in. And the story comes by the way of our fearless leader, Mr. Jason Beck, and it was published by the Nevada Independent. Rosen introduces bill to federally fund automating cannabis record sealing at state level. Governor Joe Lombardi vetoed a similar bill from Nevada legislator. Senator Jackie Rosen, Democrat, Nevada. Well, we ain't gonna say that. Okay, Democrat introduced a bill today to create a federal grant program to fund expunging or sealing of state-level cannabis offenses, using federal dollars to achieve a goal of legislative Democrats who passed a similar bill in 2023, but were stymied by Governor Joe Lombardi's Republican veto. The harnessing opportunity by pursuing expungement, the HOPE Act, has been introduced by a bipartisan group of House members in 2 straight Congresses. That includes sponsors as ideologically diverse as Democrat Socialist Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and practical Republican Rep. David Joyce, Republican of Ohio. Introducing the HOPE Act in the Senate, Rosen, the sole sponsor, is hoping that the Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, Democrat New York, will include the bill in an expected cannabis reform package centered around banking that members of Congress and industry leaders are making a renewed push for this month in honor of Marijuana Holiday 420. Schumer confirmed his interest in including the HOPE Act at a press briefing Wednesday, according to the Marijuana Moment. The bill will create a federal grant program for states and localities to take on the administrative work of expunging and sealing criminal records related to low-level marijuana in states where the drug is now legal or decriminalized, with the goal of easing the burden that those with cannabis offenses on their records face in finding housing and employment. The burden disproportionately falls on Black Americans. An American Civil Liberties Union study found that despite using the drug at similar rates, Black people were 3 times more likely than white people to be arrested for cannabis-related offenses. The HOPE Act would fund several potential ways to streamline record expungings and sealings, including automating sealing systems, partnering with legal funds or other outside organizations, or acquiring technology, states or localities to accept the grants that would be required to push relevant information for those looking to have their records expunged or sealed in an easily accessible place. including those now living in a different place than where they were convicted. The bill would essentially supersede Lombardio's veto of the proposed state program by offering federal funds and allowing localities such as Clark County, where the Commissioner Tick Seger-Bloom led the state effort to seal records at scale, to apply in states where their governors may seek out grant funding. Currently in Nevada, people with nonviolent cannabis offenses looking for relief must petition the judge and then have the record manually sealed separately in each jurisdiction throughout the state. If successfully, cannabis has been legalized and regulated in the state since 2017. As a result, the ballot initiative, which Rosen noted in a statement. Many Nevadians are still dealing with the effects of past low-level marijuana offenses, she said. Having a record of something that is now legal in our state threatens Nevadians' ability to get a job, apply for housing, and contribute to our state's economies. Over 15,000 Nevadians were convicted of marijuana-related misdemeanors between 1986 and 2017. The grant would be administered through the Justice Department and be funded at $2 million per year through 2033. The bill is supported by a number of Nevada-based and national organizations advocating for cannabis legalization and clemency, including UNLV, Cannabis Policy Institute, the Nevada Cannabis Association, the National Cannabis Roundtable, and the Lab Prisoner Project, as well as right-wing pro-business groups. And that's our story for today. You guys tell me what you think. Is it cool for them to take federal funds and get a wide level of expungements going? And how do we do that without first making it legal federally? You guys out there, especially in the chat, does it make any sense that they can actually get this bill pushed and use federal dollars and that it's still a controlled substance on the federal scheduling? Tell me what you guys think. Maybe I'm wrong about it. Maybe I'm over somebody who's always thinking there's something subversive happening. But you guys tell me what you think. And to my co-host, what do you think?
In theory, yeah.
Yes.
We tried to do that here in California, but we found out that a ton of them, even more recent convictions and stuff, they were on paper records.
Mm-hmm.
They literally found again, Felicia Carbajal, my big sis. She helped. Was it here in LA? They found like 150,000 more.
Yep.
That were supposed to be expunged, but they were on paper records. They couldn't find them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, government bureaucracy is a problem that you can't fix with a stroke of a pen. And there's years, decades of this shit going down, and it's gonna be tough to fix that. You know, I'm glad from a federal level there's stuff being proposed to be done, but I don't see it being fixed anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Dale, what I was thinking, and I'd like to ask Dale about this. You don't think that that's kind of like another carrot on the stick, kind of, especially with the bill, knowing that how can you take federal funds to allocate towards something that's not federally legal in the first place? It doesn't seem like funny to you?
It seems more than funny to me, Tony. First of all, unfunded mandates are the problem we face with all of these let's expunge records, because they tell you to do it, but they don't resource it well enough to really dig up what Rico found out, that if it's on paper and someone's got to go look it up and actually read it, and you got to pay someone to do that, and we're having trouble with that. But at a federal level, Tony, I wonder under what authority they're going to do this. Cannabis or marijuana is federally a Schedule I illegal substance, okay? So if they're going to start from there and say, oh, we're going to pay money to the states to expunge these state records, I'd like to know what's their authority to do that. If it's under the Commerce Clause, and I think we're just creating this is a whole can of worms that I don't have an answer. I think it's just theater. It's like you said, a carrot and a stick. Let's make people think we're doing something here when we're actually sleight of hand. We ain't doing shit for anybody.
We ain't doing nothing. We know it's not going to pass because it's not a legal substance. How can we federally fund something that we know is not a legal substance?
Well, it's got to go back to Congress, and Congress has to make the necessary changes to the Controlled Substances Act that they can take any kind of actions here. And I still wonder how they're going to do that under the Controlled Substances Act when it's still federally illegal if it's rescheduled. It's got to be descheduled, and then maybe you can deal with some of the stuff. But I don't know how the feds mandate that a state do shit. It's up to them. It's a state right to do this. I don't know how the feds mandate that a state do this.
Now, ultimately, though, I think this is a good thing. Overall, like anything that helps people get out of jail or clean up their records, I'm in favor for, regardless of how sideways it may seem or whatnot, because ultimately at the end of the day, the goal is to help people get out of jail and get their lives back on track.
Well, it'd be nice if they could actually do that.
I agree.
It would be nice if it would be nice if someone could change their life and not have someone trying to bring up their past to try to destroy their future. But just like the government, it doesn't matter. That's just the nature of the people. I don't think that this is a good thing. I think that this is a carrot and a stick, and I think that it's a big lie. And anyone who's just really, because I love to listen to people speak, because I like to hear what it is they're trying not to say. And I just when I was reading it, when you sent it to me, Jason, the first thing going through my mind is like, how are they going to take federal funds to do this when it's not even a legal substance? Through the federal government? It just really bothered me. I was like, I'm gonna just ask, and I'm gonna ask Dale, and that's why I went straight to Dale and asked him, like, what do you think about it? Because this just doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm with you, but nonetheless, hey, I mean, they do all kinds of things they're not supposed to do with our money, and they do it, and so at least this helps some people from weed and helps them get their life back on track, and they're all, that's how I see it.
Hopefully so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time will tell. Right?
Positivity comes out of it.
Yeah.
That's all we can hope.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Jason, you need to run for presidency of the United States of America. I will endorse it. I would raise money on your behalf. How about you run for office first? Won't you run for governor of California or some fly shit like? And people think I'm joking, but Jason, know I'm dead ass serious. Like, how about you run for governor of California or some dope shit like that, and we all get behind you. The whole industry gets behind you. The whole streets get behind you. Hip hop gets behind you. We all get behind you, and we push you to be the next governor of California, and you do something about what's going on over there.
Oh, hey, Jason, you remember how many people you get pissed off every time we would say Jason Beck for president?
Yeah, they used to get,
on our last
they used to get so mad.
Heads would explode.
Oh man,
let's do Jason Beck for governor. Let's do Jason Beck, governor of California. And Jason, you should seriously think about it, because I think that you can contribute a lot to California and need it. You know what's going on. You know the people. You know the culture, and you know business. You're a great business mind. You're one of the most intelligent men that I've come across in my time. And I would definitely be endorsing you for the governor of California. I would campaign for you, dude, and I would be one of the first people to put money inside of your campaign as a donator. Like, I would raise money for you. I'm dead ass serious, Jason. You should really consider it and think about it. I think that it would be really, and it would be a dope move too.
I'm never not opposed to that, but there would have to be the proper donorship lined up in place to make it make sense.
When you get off, and we can start kind of get that started. I could put a team behind you. We can get the donorship started, baby. You got to it's nothing but a word. I'm serious. And you know I'm serious. You should really consider it. And I will definitely put you on the phone with people who will put people around you right there in your state to start putting everything through paperwork, everything.
Take the bait, Jason. Go for it.
Take the bait. Let's do something about it. Everybody watching right now, start hashtagging Jason for Governor California. If we want to control what's happening in the industry, if we want to change it, then we need somebody that doesn't want the job, hasn't thought about doing the job, but can do the job, will be passionate about the job, has the capability and the knowledge to do so. And I believe Jason Beck is the person that could do it. He loves the culture.
I think that's too complex. You gotta be like, anti-booth Beck.
Anti-booth Beck.
Anti-booth Beck.
Make California no booth.
All the weed in California will be nothing but indoor forever.
Cute, you guys.
There's too many people outside. We need to all smoke indoor.
Yeah, you guys are funny.
Everybody smokes indoor now.
All right, let's start to wrap this shit up. Quick. All right. Jason's ego has been stroked enough today.
You guys are funny. You guys are funny.
Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at Night News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen. and making sure you're catching the show, as a live audience member or online supporter, catching us across all media platforms, tuning in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective, your respective opinions to the table. Production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping our lights on, AV struggles to a minimum. Thank you too. As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you, baby girl. It has been Thursday, April 18th, 2024. Show's over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, the cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. And for today, we're going to let's give it to Montaga. Montaga, what you got for us, man? You going to take us out today?
I'm going to tell everyone out there that we all have a responsibility to make sure that our needs our voice and we are vocal about them. I think that the most important thing that we have in this community and this hobby is the love for something that we know really does help millions and millions of people. So I'm asking everyone out there, please start the hashtag Jason Beck Governor. I think that it would be very, very important for California to have a representative that loves California, but also really knows culture and wants to do something about it. So I am dead serious when I say this, you guys. Let's start the hashtag Jason Beck for Governor of California. Let's start getting this movement going, and let's actually put somebody in California, and that will really change California for the better. So I don't have anything inspirational outside of I believe in Jason Beck, and I hope you guys do too. And I'm currently asking him to run for the governorship of California.
Nothing secret about that service.
You're funny.